my system set up. So if you can hear me, please give me a shout out in chat. Say, yes, Rachel, I hear you. Thank you guys for being here. It's wonderful to see you all. Today we're going to be watching a video that I made back in 2017, and I couldn't believe it when I thought of this video and I went to find it. I couldn't believe how long ago it was that I actually made the video. It just doesn't feel that long ago. So great. Also, thank you for confirming in the chat that you can hear me. I appreciate that. So this video is just one of my favorites because it's me with one of my best friends, and we are cooking together and we are studying real English as it happens. So that's what we're doing today. This friend is Laura, and you may know her because she's been in a few videos. We've been getting together every fall to bake for probably about 10 years. And I've been taking my video camera there for a while now. And as we watch the video together, I'm going to keep an eye on chat. I see people coming in from Spain, Brazil, Italy, Egypt, another Brazil, lots of Brazil here. Hello, Brazil. Wow, they're coming in so fast now. We have Turkey, Iraq, Spain, Mexico, Haiti, Venezuela, El Salvador. This is wonderful. Oh, someone says, I know Laura. That person must have seen my channel. Korea, Vietnam, Colombia. Oh, someone says, Serbia, Ethiopia. Someone says, you're speaking in sync. I did have some issues last week with my camera. I apologize. I promised I wouldn't go live until I fixed it, and I fixed it. Oh my gosh. Honduras, Bangladesh, Germany, Costa Rica, DR, Peru, Morocco, Venezuela. I can't even, you guys are awesome. Russia, India, Yemen, Libya, Panama, Algeria. My eyes almost can't focus. It's coming in so fast on chat. China, Denmark. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's so fun. I feel your energy as I see that chat going by. So if you have questions about the video that we're watching together or anything else, post them in chat. I'm going to try to keep my eye there. I see Somalia, Pakistan, Algeria, Tunisia, Guatemala. I saw Australia. You guys are awesome. So put a comment there in chat. I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on that. When we're watching the video together, that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you have questions, just ask. And along the way, we'll stop the video of the video from Laura, and we'll just talk. We'll talk about what's happening, what questions you guys might have. So keep them rolling in. And let's go ahead and start this video. So as I said, this was 2017. My good friend Laura, we're in her house in Massachusetts, and we've gotten together for what we call the Fall Baking Weekend. All right, let's check it out. In this American English pronunciation video, we're going to study real-life English while I make an apple pie with my dear friend Laura. Okay, time to make the caramel sauce. Caramel. They're all okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. This tasty word can be pronounced three ways: caramel, caramel, or caramel. Each pronunciation is accepted, and you will find all three of these pronunciations listed in the dictionary. Here's what it says. Whisk in a medium saucepan. Now it doesn't say over medium-low heat.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. Notice how we respond to each other, K and okay. These are both common variants of the word okay. This word is used a lot in conversational English. It can be used to say, I understand, I'm listening, which is how Laura and I both use it here. Over medium-low heat.
Okay.
Okay. I've read a... Okay. How many of you guys love to cook? I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions coming in. Someone says, will the live video be saved? Can you save this in your channel? Yes. Right now I'm leaving them all as public. This is my third or fourth, so they're all there. I I think if you go to youtube.com/Rachel'sEnglish/live, that maybe old ones are there, but if not, I'll figure out where to send you to go see it. But yes, this one will be up. So if you go to my channel, you should be able to find it along with my other live videos. So I want to know in this video, Laura and I were cooking caramel sauce, caramel, and we're talking about the different pronunciations of that. So we're making a dessert. And I want to know in the chat, what is your favorite dessert to make or to eat? But if you make it, let me know. Laura and I are planning on getting together this fall if we're able to with travel restrictions. And we're always looking for new recipes to try. I'm thinking it would be so fun to try a recipe that was where the idea was given to us by one of you. So in the chat, let me know what's your favorite dessert, and maybe I can Google it and find a recipe, and Laura and I can cook it up. We can share it with you guys. Okay, let's keep going with Laura. What are we going to make? Have I announced it yet? I don't remember if I've said it yet at this point in the video. Part of the recipe, and we're both saying, I understand that. Then she offers to take care of it, and I say, okay, again, here meaning I understand.
I'll do that.
Okay. We also use it for yes. Will you add the sugar? Okay.
Over medium-low heat. Okay.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. Here's what it says. So we do this until the sugar is dissolved. Then we add the butter, which I put out on the counter.
Is it a whole
there.
stick?
Mm-hmm.
Just light on the butter.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, so Japanese cheesecake, lemon cake, lemon pie. Someone said cake. Someone said ice cream. A few people have said tiramisu. Peach cobblet is one of my favorites. Cinnamon rolls. I'm thinking about making some cinnamon rolls this week. I saw a recipe and I thought this is too good to ignore. Okay, someone from Hong Kong says it's 4 a.m. Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about desserts. Someone says brownies, Saint Honoré, a very French cake. Now, I've seen that made before on a cooking show, but I've never made it. But I did buy a book on French pastry, and it's in it. So maybe I should make that. Seems kind of complicated, but I'm always up for... So I'm seeing a lot of people saying Nikito. I've never even heard this word before. Is that a dessert? If so, please explain it, because lots of people said that. Donuts. Yes. I love donuts. Actually, last year, Laura and I made apple cider donuts. We covered them in cinnamon and sugar. They were some of the best things I've ever made. I'm definitely going to want to make those again soon. Arroz con leche. Yummy. I've had that before for sure. Nikito is so good. Okay, so what is it? Someone tell me, what is Nikito? I'm giving it a very American pronunciation, aren't I? Nikito. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced. Someone says baklava. I love baklava. I used to not. As a kid, I didn't really like it. I would say actually I didn't even like it for even as an adult for a while, but then I had it and I opened my mind to it again and I realized how delicious it was. Pumpkin dessert. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to shrink myself down again and I'm going to keep watching. Thank you guys for throwing out all your dessert suggestions. I'm going to have to go look up what is Nikito so that I can learn about it. This pie is not very high in calories, so that's nice.
False.
False. I've said something here that's not true. It's false. I'm not being serious. The pie is very high in calories. Listen to the different ways you can say, I'm not being serious. False. I'm joking. I'm being facetious. I'm just kidding. How else could you say that?
She's joking. Did you already say that?
I did say that. I'm pulling your
leg. You're
leg.
pulling my leg.
Yeah, I'm pulling your leg. It's a high in calorie pie. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
just joshing me.
I'm just joshing you. Where does that one
That's
come
an
from?
old-timey one. Don't use that one.
I'm just joshing. You could say that. I'm just joshing. Dang. Don't get upset. I'm just joshing. Okay, so in that video there, I'm about to review all those things, but Josh is a name. It's a pretty common name for a man in the U.S., And I don't know how the phrase joshing evolved. It would be interesting to look that up, but we do use the phrase "I'm just joshing you" to mean I'm just kidding you. So I don't know why or how, but just watching this, it's just so, I see how hard I laugh when I'm with Laura, and it makes me appreciate her so much. I know so many people across the world, myself included right now, we're in a period where we're not really able to be physically in proximity to friends. We're trying to do social distancing, and with 2 small children, it's hard to do anything. If our kids were old enough to understand, then we could potentially go sit in a field with some friends 6 feet away. But our youngest child is 18 months, and he wouldn't understand staying away from people. So it just seems kind of hard and complicated to go be with people. And as the weather's getting warm and we just think about getting outside more, it's just more and more sad, isn't it? What about you guys? Are you guys, where you live, let me know in the chat, are you guys also having to do social distancing, or maybe the coronavirus isn't an issue where you are right now? But it is definitely an issue here. Okay, let's go back to the video. I'm going to recap all of those different ways in American English that we can say, I'm not being serious. Joking. I'm being facetious. I'm just kidding. I'm pulling your leg. I'm just joshing. All of these things mean what I'm saying should not be taken seriously or literally. I could have also said, I'm just playing, or I'm playing. The word just in all of these phrases can be used, but doesn't have to be used. A note on the pronunciation of the word just. If it's followed by a word that begins with a consonant, the T will usually be dropped. For example, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Straight from the S sound into the K with no T. False. I'm joking. I'm being facetious. I'm just kidding. I'm pulling your leg. It's a high in calorie pie. Mm-hmm. I'm just joshing you. Where does that one come from?
Old-timey one. Don't use that one.
You want to grab the stick of butter?
Yeah.
So in case you're wondering, I saw it in chat. An Aikido is a cookie that is famous in Brazil. Very delicious, apparently. Perhaps I should look up a recipe for this. If I make it, I will put a story on YouTube and Instagram, and I think my Instagram automatically goes to Facebook. So if I make it, I will post it there, and I will give my review of this cookie. I also saw Meggie, who is my student in Rachel's English Academy, in the chat. She lives in France. She said they're doing lockdown there, and she wishes people would take social distancing more seriously. Am I getting that right, Meggie? The chat went by really quickly, but I think that's what I saw. And the same thing is true here. Some people are taking it really seriously and other people not so much. If you don't know anybody who has it or who had it bad, I do think it's probably harder at this point to take it more seriously. But, there's such a huge sacrifice that's happening, right? A societal sacrifice, an economic sacrifice, and all of that. We're still being very serious, and we're really keeping very isolated. But we're lucky that we have a friend who moved in with us 8 weeks ago. So we've combined 2 households, and we just decided to be each other's nuclear family. So we have 1 extra person living with us, and that has been great. So someone says, what are some of the differences from the students you first taught and now in their English learning? So Jack, I'm not sure if your question is about how my technique has changed over the years, or how do I teach someone that's a beginner versus more advanced. And, something that's interesting about that is I'm often working on the same thing, because my advanced students have picked up on a lot of things, but there's often a little bit of character that's just keeping them from sounding natural, whether that's placement or making reductions even shorter. And so I'll be working on those final fine-tuning things with my advanced students, but then my beginning students, I think they're such important and crucial components that right from the beginning, I'll be talking about character as well. So it's often something similar. Now I have to go deeper on more topics with my more beginner students, like sounds working out mouth positions and these kinds of things. But there are a few topics that I work on with everybody because pretty much everybody needs work on them. And Maggie has confirmed that yes, there are a few cases in Bordeaux. You know, Maggie, I was in Bordeaux like 15 years ago or something. Loved it. Totally want to go back. If I do, I will look you up and we will have wine together when all of this coronavirus is past us. All right, let's head back over to the video so that we can watch the cooking and get really nice and hungry. Every fall for what? How many years have we been doing this?
Well, we've lived here since 2010, and it
No
probably
way.
started.
Here?
No way. Here? No way. What does that mean? That means I can't believe what she's saying. I don't think it's true. And it turns out I misunderstood. I thought she meant she had been living in that house since 2010, but she meant she'd been living in the town since then.
Well, we've lived here since 2010, and it
No
probably
way.
started.
Here? Oh,
no,
you mean
no, no,
Northampton.
in Northampton.
Yeah.
6
years.
or 7 years.
Okay, so a couple things I saw in chat. Someone was asking about it. Is it social distance or physical distance? That's a good question. So it is physical distance, but it's called social distancing. Isn't that funny? So in Philadelphia, we're being asked to keep, I think it's 6 feet away from people in general when possible. But that practice of doing that is called social distancing. So for example, at the grocery store or at a park, we'll see signs that say, please practice social distancing, maintain a distance of 6 feet or more whenever possible. Also, someone asked about the pronunciation of the word false and the dark L there. So the L in that word is what we call a dark L because it comes after the vowel. Fall, that's the dark sound, and then there's an S. This person said, do you lift your tongue tip for the L? The answer is no. When you have a dark L and the next sound is a consonant, you don't lift your tongue tip. Of course, there'll always be an exception, but in general, one person might do it once. And then also if it's at the end of the sentence or your thought, you don't lift your tongue tip. For example, my name, Rachel. Hey, what's your name? Rachel. If I say that and I'm done and I break and I don't link into a next word, my name ends in an L, a dark L, I don't lift my tongue tip. Rachel. I just make that dark sound. False. Fall. You can see my tongue tip is down for that. I'm making the sound with the back of my tongue. Oh. Yes, of course, I have videos on the dark L and how to make it, but that's a general rule to keep in mind. If the sound after is a consonant or there is no sound after, it's the end of a thought group, then don't lift your tongue tip. It's going to bring the sound too far forward. It's going to make too much of the sound, and it's probably not going to sound right. Someone has asked so many times in the chat, do you speak Spanish? A little. I lived abroad in college. That was a long time ago. I lived in the Dominican Republic. I spoke Spanish there. Since then, I've spent a little bit of time in Mexico, but it's been a very long time since I've needed Spanish on a daily basis. So I can say I don't speak it very well, but I'm happy to find that when I go back to a situation where I need it, like when I was in Mexico in January, that I'm able to get by. And that feels good. I feel like I have a base that I can use to build on, to improve my vocabulary, figure out where my holes are and all of that, you know, if I'm ever in a situation where I'm going to be spending more time speaking Spanish. All right, let's head back over to the video.
Yeah.
I said 7-ish years, while Laura said 6 or 7 years. Ish is something you might hear put at the end of a word to show approximation.
7-ish
6
years.
or 7 years.
Yeah. Every fall I come up to Laura's house and we have a fall baking weekend. And actually, we've made lots of videos from the fall baking weekend, so I will put a link to that playlist in the comments below. Also, right here, just click the I. They're really fun.
They are. At least we have fun.
We have fun.
We keep on working on the sauce for that pie, adding butter, and then adding cream.
Okay, are you ready to whisk? I think I'm supposed to add this really slowly.
Am I supposed to keep whisking or stirring?
There, we're both unsure of what the recipe says. We both use the phrase supposed to. We both reduced this phrase to supposed to. We reduced it from 3 syllables to 2, This is really common. The S and T can either be pronounced st, sposta, or ZD, sposta.
I think I'm supposed to add this really slowly.
Am I supposed to keep whisking or stirring?
All right. Here we go.
Whoa!
Whoa, steam bomb the camera.
Okay.
Steam bomb. Okay, I'm seeing a couple more comments and questions coming up in chat. First of all, a few other people from my academy have let me know that they were here. Thank you guys. Great to see you here. Someone says whisking. So a whisk is that kitchen tool that we were using that has all of those, I don't even know what to call them, metal strands. And it's a tool that I think is probably from French cooking originally. Someone's asking about my going live. Am I doing it often? So if you're just joining me here, thanks for coming. I am going to be going live for the next several weeks. I'm thinking maybe May and June, just as a way to try to connect more during this time of distancing and when I am at home and I'm having more time to be at home. And right now I'm planning on going live on Saturdays, but just keep an eye on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, because I'll announce it there. And if you go to youtube.com/Rachel'sEnglish/live, it should show the next time that I have scheduled. I'm scheduling a day or two in advance. So if you check that, then you'll definitely be in the know about when it's happening and you can share it with people. I saw someone ask about the difference between V and W. So a lot of my students from India have problems switching those two. It's actually very clear because you can see the mouth position. V, and you can see that's different than W. Wow. Vow. So I do have a video that goes over that up close, slow motion. You can pause it. You can really study the two sounds side by side. So make sure on YouTube to search for Rachel's English VW, and you should be able to find it. A couple people are asking if I speak Chinese. I do not. That would be fun. You know, my friend who I'm living with right now, her name is Renee, and she lived in China in the 2nd and 3rd grade. So when she was about like 7 to 9 years old and so she speaks Chinese. It's fun to have her around. She's teaching the boys a few Chinese phrases and words. Of course, they can speak it way better than I can. Someone says, how does Corona day-to-day life look like? You know, here, I always worked from home. I have a home office, so that's not different. But for most people that I know, their work life is very different. For example, my friend who's living with us, she usually works in an office in New York City, but she's able to be here with us because they've closed their office. So they're all doing work from home. So work from home is a big thing. Childcare and schools are closed. That makes it very difficult for people who have children like myself. And so our routine has changed the most that way. And that our children are with us 24/7 from the second they come and wake you up by shouting in your face, you know, until you finally get them to fall asleep at 8 or 9 or whatever. So that's the biggest difference, is just the constant on. And, you know, I always say after we finally get the last kid to sleep, we come downstairs and it's a disaster zone. And then we have to spend like an hour cleaning that up. And then by the time that's done, we're just so tired. We just go to bed. It's a little bit better than that I'm describing, but that's the main difference. We don't know anyone personally who has died of it. I know people who know people. And we know a few people who have gotten it, but it's not been like a very close relationship. So as far as the virus itself and the scariness of it, we're pretty far removed from that at this point. But that's what I would say. Our main difference is the kids and not being able to see friends, not being able to go out. You know, David and I we haven't been out together on a date, of course, in 2.5 months now. All right, let's go back to the video. I want to see how this pie turns out. I'm pretty sure it was pretty good. So now we're slicing the apples. We're using a machine to make it a little easier. Are you going to put them in here then?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are always lots of reductions in American English. Let's look at the ones I just used. We are contracts to we're and is often pronounced were in conversation. It's really fast and it sounds just like this word were. I use that contraction twice here.
So now we're slicing the apples. We're using a machine to make it a little easier. Are you going to put them in here then?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to put them in here then? Some more reductions. The word are at the beginning was dropped. We need that word to be grammatically correct, but it is sometimes dropped in spoken English. Going to became gonna, and the th was dropped in them. Put them becomes put'em, put'em. No th and a flap t to connect the two words. Put'em, put'em.
Are you going to put them in here then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, watch this. Okay, everyone practice that. Put 'em, put 'em, put 'em. Link those words. Put 'em. You gonna put 'em? Okay, a couple questions coming in. One person is asking, what video editing software do I use? I assume you mean in these live broadcasts. I know it's pretty cool, isn't it? I saw a demo and I was like, this is amazing. It's called Wirecast is what I'm using to do this live stream with you now, where I'm against a green screen and I can be superimposed in front of the video. Someone else asked a question, which of course I can't remember now, but someone else is asking about something about the community. And it is true that I do feel like my husband and I have a really strong, wonderful community that we're surrounded with. And I think that can come across in the videos. I'm so lucky that I have friends and family that are willing to be in the videos. I think, don't they make them more interesting when it's friends and family in the videos? I think it's a lot more interesting than when it's just me. I just saw another country represented in the chat that I hadn't seen yet. It's Bolivia. My parents used to live there. They lived there for 3 years before I was born. So hello to you. Okay, wow. Now the chat is going so fast. Someone says, what's your favorite song? Oh boy, that's tough. You know, I used to sing opera, and that's most of what I listen to. If any of you guys are fans of the opera, I want to let you know, if you didn't already, that the Metropolitan Opera, if you go to metopera.org, every night they're doing a new free stream. It's actually for 24 hours from their archive. And I've been able to watch little bits here and there. Super fun. If you love opera, go check it out. If you don't know opera, try it out. Why not? All right, let's go back to the video. Did everyone try that? Put it, put it, put it.
The bottom, totally thin slice.
I hope so. Oh, I know the other question I wanted to answer.
Put the lemon juice in. The word let.
Sorry about that, guys. I totally did not mean to make that clip happen. Someone else asked a question, and it was about whether or not it's possible to sound like a native speaker if you weren't born here, and how many years does it take. So I would say it really doesn't have to do with years. It's not like in a certain number of years you will achieve that. It has to do more with your natural ability to imitate and to develop your American part of yourself. I call it your American persona. And then people who have a really good musical ear and, as I said, very good imitation skills can definitely get there or almost there. And it does take a long time, probably a couple of years, I would say. But you have to... Certain people will be able to achieve that, and I think other people will probably never be able to achieve that. It has to do with their mindset and how open they are to change, how much they can find something different with their body, how much they can understand a different way of expressing themselves. And, you know, not everybody wants to sound like a native speaker. A lot of people value their accents, and they study simply to feel that they can communicate more easily and be more easily understood. And I always say, I know I teach accent reduction, but I think accents are wonderful. And I am not in the business of eliminating accents. I am in the business of helping people reach their goals for communicating in English, whatever they are. Okay, let's go back to that video. And again, sorry about that blip I just had.
Is really unclear. It's very common to drop the beginning and basically just make the TS sound. Let's put the lemon juice in. Tss, tss. That's, it's, and what's can also make this reduction, where we're just putting the TS sound in front of the next word. See this video for further examples and explanation.
Let's put the lemon juice in. And the baby's up. Okay, let me go get him.
Let me go get him. A couple reductions here. Let me becomes lemmy. And the H is dropped in him. Dropping the H in this word is a really common reduction. When we do this, it sounds just like when we dropped the TH in them. Get him becomes get 'em. Just like put them was put 'em. The flap T links the words, and the reduction of them and him are the exact same sounds, schwa and m. Get 'em.
Did you guys know that? That the him reduction and the them reduction will sound the same. Get 'em, put 'em, da da da. In those cases, we're linking with a flap T, but both them and him sound like when they're reduced. And sometimes people will say, why on earth would they be pronounced the same? And I say, because the context, we know, are we talking about a couple of people or are we talking about a single person? So that's why it's not really confusing. So I said, let me go get him, get him, get him, get him. That's get him pronounced a more natural way. Everyone out there, try it right now. Get him. Repeat with me. Get him. Get him. Get him. Right. Okay, now let's go back. I think my son Stony is about to make an appearance.
Put 'em.
Okay, let me go get him. Can you look right there? Say hi. I just had a nice nap. Can you say hey, everybody? You want to try that? Hey, everybody. You want to try? No. Okay.
Can I go ahead and put the apples in there?
Yeah, dump them in.
Dump them in. Them is...
Okay, I really wanted Stony to say something to camera, but he wouldn't do it. And then I said, dump them in. Dump them. Dump them. Again, them becoming Get them. Dump them. I love these reductions, and these are the characteristic components of English. These are what make American English very unique. The linking, the way, some students come from a language where each word is separate and clear, and they have the hardest time with this linking and with changing a word like them to Why would you ever make a word less clear than it's supposed to be? But this is what we do in American English. We love the flow. We love the smoothness, and it can make it incredibly hard to understand. But when you know what the reductions are and you study them like this, like in this video, they will become easier to understand. And once that starts happening, you'll find that your listening comprehension does improve. So there is a good reason for studying all of these things. It's not just interesting in the beautiful music, but it helps you understand American English.
Reduced again. Dump 'em. Dump 'em.
Yeah, dump them in. I'm going to take you down to Daddy.
I'm going to take you down to Daddy. I'm going to got reduced. With our most common words and phrases, we tend to do the most dramatic reductions. Mna. There's almost an idea of I in front of it, but not really. Mna, mna, mna. I'm going to take you down to Daddy. I made a video where I go over this reduction and more examples. Click here or in the description below to see that video.
I'm going to take you down to Daddy. All right.
All of them?
Let me read ahead. Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
I love how when you start paying attention to a particular reduction, you constantly hear it. Did you catch the reductions of them here? We're talking about the apple slices.
All of them?
Let me read ahead. Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
All of them. Nice them reduction, Laura.
All of them?
Mm-hmm. I like it, linking with the V. Okay. The thing that's so fun and funny about making videos with my friends is we all use English without thinking about it, of course. And as soon as I point something out, like the reduction, and then, when they stop to think about it, they think, oh, all of them. It's so ridiculous to say all of them. And isn't it funny how all of ends up sounding like the word olive? Olive, the little green thing that you get olive oil out of. Olive, olive, all of them, all of them. I just love this about language, and it's so fun thinking about it when I'm around people who don't think about it and discovering these things and just listening to how they talk and reduce. Someone says, it's like impossible for me to learn all of these reduction things. You know what? I'm going to challenge you on that. There are not a massive number of reductions. There are quite a few, but not hundreds. I have a video on each one of them. You can learn them and you can do it. And the more you do it, and then you start doing analyses of native speech, you'll get more and more used to them. Guys, this summer, 13 videos in a row, we're going to do those Ben Franklin speech analysis videos where we're taking a scene from a movie, in this case, and we're doing an in-depth pronunciation analysis. And so as a part of that, you're going to be seeing a lot of reductions. And those are a great way to solidify what you're learning. If you've learned something like the reduction of them and him, then you go see it being used in a conversation. It's a great way to solidify that in your mind. So be sure to check that out. It's an awesome series. I just finished my first round of editing with them, and they're going to be really good. They're going to be really fun. We have a big variety of videos of movies that we're going to be doing clips from, and they're all worth watching. There's something interesting to learn in every one of them, so make sure you come check it out. Okay, so the first one is the first Tuesday in June. All right, let's go back to the video. Then we mixed the apples in with the other dry ingredients. We packed the apples into our pie shell and drizzled on the caramel sauce, which got too thick as it cooled. We overcooked it. And finally, we make the lattice top for the pie. I had some problems and I kept messing it up.
I put it, what is wrong with me? I am like really screwing up. Really screwing up. Screw up is a phrasal verb which means to do something the wrong way or to do a bad job with something. I screwed up the pie crust. You could also say mess up. I messed up the pie crust. Really screwing up. I have to wipe that off. Oh, darn. I have to eat that caramel sauce. This is weird, Laura. Last time I made this, it seeped in much more. So because look, when I'm doing the lattice now, when I pull it up, it's like bringing up all this
Right,
goo.
it's thicker.
It's weird. I gotta say, right now, I'm feeling embarrassed about how this is turning out. Turn out, another phrasal verb. As I'm using it here, it means how something develops or ends. I'm not happy with how it's going. I'm embarrassed with the end result of my pie. I gotta say, right now, I'm feeling embarrassed about how this is turning out. I finished making the top and we put it in the oven. And the final scene, of course, needs to be trying the pie. It's out of the oven, looking good. Laura, how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling great.
Oh, also we made a pumpkin pie
I'm also feeling great about that.
from scratch with a pumpkin. We made whipped cream. Big deal. And Dana made chocolate dipped macaroons. Macaroon or macaron? To clarify, this is a macaroon, and this is a macaron, which is also pronounced macaron. I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll let everyone know. Okay, let's cut this pie. Who wants a little bit of apple? If you'd like to recreate this pie, it really is amazingly delicious. Please see the link in the video description below. It's from my favorite pie book, the 4 and 20 Blackbirds book. I'm going to have a caramelly taste. It turned out well. That's it, guys. And thanks so much for using Rachel's English. In this American English pronunciation.
Okay, that was a fun dinner party. Okay, I'm seeing some questions come in chat. Let's just take a quick minute to look at them. Somebody was asking about the difference between kin, K-I-N, king, and keen. Like, I'm keen to do that. I'm interested in doing that. So the difference there is the I vowel, like in sit, and the E vowel, like in seat. And I do have a video on that where I actually used the problem of the word beach sounding just like a cuss word, bitch. And I know a lot of my non-native students are like embarrassed and worried about the difference in these vowels because it also comes in with the word sheet and then the cuss word with the I sound would be shit. And so it's important to feel comfortable in these vowels. And I know a lot of my students aren't. So I do have a video. You can look that up. Probably Googling on YouTube Rachel's English and then the word beach would get you there. But the thing to note is with the word king, like king and queen. So if you look it up in the dictionary, you'll see the I vowel, like in sit. But it's not. Because that would be I, ki, king. King. And that's not how we say that word. We say king. So when the I vowel is followed by an NG sound, then it shifts to E. But that's not what the dictionaries will tell you. This is common in words like king and ring, like a ring. But then also we have a ton of words in English, all of our verbs that would have an ing ending. So it's true there as well. It's not ing, it's ing, helping, ing. In a dictionary, that would say it's I, but it's really more of E in practice. It's just one of those things that, for whatever reason, the IPA doesn't really truthfully reflect the habits of how Americans speak. There are just a few vowels like that, and this is one of them. I vowel followed by NG, the ing ending. Someone says, why are you an awesome teacher? I don't know. Because I have awesome students, I think. Okay, guys, it's been really fun being here with you live. Thank you so much for joining me. The chat was so on fire today. I had a hard time even reading the comments. Sometimes they moved so quickly. I'm seeing someone asking about learning vocabulary. Search that on my channel. I have a couple videos. One of them is 5 tips on learning vocabulary. And then I've published 2 recently that are intermediate words that are great words for my intermediate students and also any student studying for an exam like TOEFL or IELTS. These are going to be words that you're going to want to know for those exams. So be sure to check them out. Rachel's English Vocabulary should bring them up for you. But this was fun, guys. Keep an eye out for my next live stream. It will likely be the same time next Saturday. And I will publish the link for that a couple days in advance. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I enjoy you. I appreciate you. I hope you are